All right, thank you very much, Paul. Can you see my screen?
Not yet, no.
Okay, just a moment.
Perfect. That's come through for me. Brilliant stuff.
Okay, all right. All right, so good morning. It's still morning where I am now. So maybe I should say good afternoon and good evening to everybody, depending on which part of the world you're joining us from today. So first of all, I want to say a very big thank you to Chris, Paul, and the rest of the Teams Nation crew for making this event happen again and for letting me be a part of this event again this year. And thank you to all the participants for also joining in. So today I'm going to be talking to you about leveraging Microsoft Teams for work and education in Nigeria. Some important features to know. But first, before we delve into the topic proper, so let's take on the boring stuff first. So just like Paul rightly mentioned, my name is Kazim Adegboyega. I'm an IT professional. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I'm also a Microsoft Azure MVP from Nigeria. I run two YouTube podcasts. One is the Tech Talk with Kazim on YouTube, and I have another one that I run with my friend Samuel Eskin, and it's Africa Talks Tech on YouTube as well. If you like to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter. So it's Kazim Can Teach on Twitter. And if you want to look me up on LinkedIn, it's Kazim Adegboyega on LinkedIn. All right, so this is what we're going to be looking at today, what I'm going to be walking you through today. So we'll start with some background information about leveraging Teams for education and work in Nigeria. Next, we'll take a look at briefly the state of hybrid learning in Nigeria, and we'll look at how Teams is mostly used for work in Nigeria. Then we'll try to wrap up with some bit of demos, and I'll see if there are some questions that I can respond to. So leveraging Teams in Nigeria, the way Teams is being used in Nigeria is no different from how Teams is being used in other parts of the world. However, there are some peculiarity, right, to Nigeria with regards to how people leverage, how people make use of Microsoft Teams here in Nigeria. So I would say that the adoption of Microsoft Teams, just like we're seeing in other parts of the world, that it continues to be on the increase. So it's also increasing in Nigeria here. And I should also add quickly for those watching, and people usually don't know that Nigeria is a very big country, right? So we have over 2 million people. So the population of Nigeria is way above 2 million, 200 million, I beg your pardon. So, the problem in Nigeria with Teams, with how Teams is being consumed, how Teams is being used, either for education or for work, is that many people would leverage Teams, just the basic features of Teams, and not leveraging that collaborative aspect of Microsoft Teams. So either a lot of people using Teams don't know, maybe they are really not aware of some of these massive things that we can do with Teams, or they're just simply not using it. So hopefully at the end of today's session, the people would be able to see some of the things that Teams can help us with, and then start leveraging it. So let's begin with the state of hybrid learning in Nigeria. So education in Nigeria, if we say, we can say that hybrid learning, we're not quite there yet, is not something that is fully adopted here in Nigeria, but at least we're also making progress in that regard. But hybrid learning, when we look at it, comes with a lot of pros, comes with a lot of advantages, and we simply cannot shy away from these many pros that hybrid learning gives us. I mean, we start to see things around hybrid learning where teachers can now start to make use of the concept of a magic board, so where you have a board and you have a teacher right in front of the board, and the student can look through the teacher to see the board, right? So that's possible with hybrid learning, right? And, also imagine if you're a student and you missed out on a class, or you simply just can't remember what exactly the definition that a teacher gave in class. And you could leverage on a service such as live caption or language transcription service, to take a look at what the teacher said exactly, the exact statement, the exact word for word that the teacher used in class. I mean, those are some of the advantages, some of the leverage that we have with hybrid learning that, we should be leveraging. And the good thing is that Microsoft Teams support most of these things that, some of these advanced features that hybrid learning presents to us now. Next, let's quickly take a look at also how people use Teams in Nigeria to work. Yes, we know now that the COVID, is forced a lot of people to start to work from home, right? To work remotely. So when it comes to work, we need to always look at how we can work such that we're getting very productive. So it should be about productivity. We need to look up tools that we can leverage to really make us very productive, right? So using Microsoft Teams isn't just about making a Teams call or using Teams to set up meetings. We can do way more than that with Teams. But unfortunately, when you look around, in Nigeria, what the features that people use the most with Teams is using it to make calls and using it to set up meetings. And they don't use it for, they don't tap into the other very powerful features that comes bundled with Teams. Just like the way people here in Nigeria leverage Microsoft 365 or Office 365. You find customers subscribing to Microsoft 365 or Office 365, and all they're making use of is just Teams, the Exchange Online, that's for email, and then Office Pro Plus. But what happens to the rest of the other tools? What happens to the Power Automate, the Power Apps, and then the rest of them, SharePoint and the likes? So it shows that we can do way more than just using Microsoft Teams to do calls and to set up meetings. So what I'm going to be doing is to walk us through some of the features that we can leverage, so whether we're using Teams to work or we're using Teams as in the education space, either as a teacher or students also are looking to leverage Teams. So what are some of those cool features that people can leverage to make their work really easy, or to make the learning experience between the teacher and the students really seamless? So I'm going to be sharing 4 features that we can leverage for work, and I'll be sharing 4 features also that we can leverage for learning. So we'll start things off with the work features, right? So number 1 on my list for work is, we can use this as well for learning, right? So is the use of command and search box. The use of command and search box. So I'm going to quickly share. All right, so this is the command box right here. So when we talk about the use of the command box just simply makes it easier, for us to look up things that we want in Microsoft Teams, right? So imagine if we're looking to do things like checking today's weather, for instance. So instead of having to bing it up, looking it up from Google, is something we can leverage on the search box or the command box to do, by using the slash button. So I could do slash and then weather, right? Sorry, that would be at weather. So you either use the at or you use the slash, right? So if I'm doing the at weather, I simply want to look at what the weather situation is looking like. Let's say here in Lagos, I'm doing this presentation from Lagos. So I can type Lagos. And you get the picture. So you can give you an insight into what the weather is looking like for us here in Lagos. How about also if we're looking to, say, make a quick phone call? You want to call somebody, you want to Teams call someone. To Team call someone is to do a slash call, right? So if I do a slash call, I simply can type in the name of the person and I can call up the person. So you can see how easy it is. So if I also want to change my status information, for instance, from available to not available or be right back, is as easy as using the BRB, for be right back. If I'm looking to message someone, I need to chat somebody up. I don't need to go through the stress of coming through the chat box, to do that. I simply can also leverage on the @ symbol and then look up the person in this case and type the message, and the person gets the message. So you see that the command box is always there for us. It helps us to quickly take action within Teams. So it comes in very handy when we need to take certain actions. Number two for me is the use of bookmarks. The use of bookmarks. When you use Microsoft Teams, over time, what you would find is that you have a lot of messages all around the place, flying all over the place in Teams. So it might be very difficult for you to start searching for that particular message. So if you have some messages you always need to make use of, you always need to leverage, then what you want to do is to leverage on bookmarks, right? So this is an example here. So the way we do this is if I have a channel that I created for this purpose here, and if I look at this channel, so we can see I have a couple of information up on this channel. We'll be having the MVP Global Summit coming up soon. Perhaps it's something I just want to always have in my site, right? So I can always select that particular message that I'm interested in, click on the ellipses, and I will try to save this message, right? Save this message. So you can continue to save. You can have as many messages saved as you want to. So anytime you need those messages now, you log into Teams, what you need to do to access those saved messages is for you to click on your profile and you'll be able to see this saved icon here. So I'll click on the saved icon and it gives you access, right? So it points you to that particular message that you have saved. So you can see it comes in very handy there. So another very good one that we can leverage for those working remotely, instead of just using Teams to make calls, like I mentioned, and just using it to set up meetings, is accessing your planner and to do from within Teams, right? So if you don't know what the planner tool is, the planner tool helps us stay organized, right? So you can use the planner to organize your to-dos, your activities, for instance, for the day can come into the to-do. So we know to-do is a free app, right? You also get it free of charge with your Microsoft 365 or your Office 365 license, right? So instead of having to open the planner separately in another window, opening the to-do in a separate window, you simply can have access to all these tools from within Teams itself, right? So, and how do we do this? So the way we do this is to click on this ellipses here, and I will look for to do. Okay, or search for planner. Okay, how about I look for task? All right, so this is it right here. So task by planner and to do. So I'm going to click on that right now. So it takes just some little time to load here. So you can see it here. So I can start to create my list, right? My to-do list. I can assign it to people. If I want to, I'm also able to see my shared, if I have a planner, the shared planner also shows up from here. So I don't use planner, but if it's something that you make use of and you make use of to do. So you see, you can have it right here. Anytime you log into Teams, you can always have it show up here. Just to be sure that it doesn't go away after you restart Microsoft Teams, you can simply right click on it and pin it here. So it will always show up every time you log into Teams. And you can take a look at your task also from here instead of having to open a separate window for this. So that's another very cool one that people can leverage to get you really very productive. Another very cool one is grouping people in teams with tags. Tags is another one that comes in very handy that makes you really productive. How do we leverage tags, right? So sometimes if I want to message people, if I am working from within a team, let me try to launch a team right here. My Teams Nation team. So let's go to the general channel here. So from the general channel, I need to send a message to a number of people in this team, right? So instead of having to send the message and at mentioning the different people, for instance, I want to send a conversation, so I can say the teams nation sessions on now. Please join. And I need to notify multiple people. I need to notify this user here. I need to notify this other user. I need to notify this other user. How about, it might not be a big deal, right? If you're looking to at mention or just notify about 3 to 5 people. But what happens when you need to notify from time to time 20 people, 30 people, let's say? So that's when you really find the tagging comes in really handy. So what you apologies again for the network glitch. So I'm back now. So I think earlier on I was trying to demo the ads, right? So the use of the tagging, that it's easier when you have multiple people to simply leverage on tagging instead of having to mention people. So the way you tag, the way you leverage tagging. I want to create tag for this channel here. So I'm just going to click on the ellipses and then click on manage tag, create a tag, give my tag a name. So how about I call the tag Teams Nation. And so I need to put in the group members now. So let me put a few group members here. And then create this tag. So once I have this tag created, then it becomes a little easier when I want to mention people. So what I can simply do is type in my message and mention the tag instead. So Teams Nation, right, is the name of the tag. And once I send this message, everybody that is a member of the that particular tag gets it. So those are the four that I have for you. The four the 4 features that I have for you that you can leverage to make your work easier. And then let's quickly take a look at some features that we can also take advantage of for education, right? So one would be the use of the whiteboard, the use of the whiteboard. The whiteboard is not new to Teams. It's something that Teams has been supporting for some time now. So if I need to use the whiteboard, this is what it looks like. By the way, if I'm trying to share something here, let me try to go to one of my meetings here and join this meeting. And I'm trying to share. So to share, I will simply share a whiteboard, a Microsoft whiteboard, right? So I'll share the whiteboard. And you give it a little time to load. And with that, the teacher and the students can now they can collaborate via this whiteboard, right? So the teacher is able to put up things like, put up a text and Teams Nation is still on, right? And the student as well can collaborate with the students. So you can also use emojis, these reactions. You can use shapes as well. So it's a great way to collaborate between students and teachers. And if the teacher decide not to allow the students, right, to collaborate, so you can always disable that as the initiator of the meeting or as the one who is presenting by simply not allowing participants to edit, right? So that is one very cool feature on top of the list for me that teachers can take advantage of with their students. Another one would be the use of annotation with Zoom It, So annotation comes in handy when you need to do things such as zooming in and zooming out, right? So it makes zooming in and zooming out very easy for people. And sometimes you might want to leave some kind of mark on the screen, like pointing an arrow to the screen, like setting focus to something on the screen. So you can leverage on Zoom It. So Zoom It is a free tool, by the way, that people can download on the Windows 6 internals website. So it's free of charge. So I have one downloaded on my system. So when you need to make use of it, you simply need to memorize a few key combinations. So the rule here is for you to choose which of the key combinations would work for you that you need to work with. So if you need to use it, you hold down the control button. And if I need to zoom, I will press a 1. So key combination of control plus 1 will allow me zoom, as you can see here. So if I need to zoom back in, so I'm going to press the 1. How about if I'm trying to write something on the screen, right? So you see, I can hold my control and 2 and then use my mouse to drag over something that I want to point attention to, like in the case here. And you can always change your colors, right? So you can change colors from whatever color that you have. Right now I'm using green. How about I change it to yellow? So you just press a Y, control key plus Y will give you the yellow, and I can also point to this. How about if we're trying to make an arrow? So I hold down my control and shift, and I can make an arrow sign, right? So the Zoom It tool is another tool that comes in very handy that teachers can leverage with their students. And if you're done with using the Zoom It, you can simply press Escape to free things up for you again. Let me be sure that I'm still audible. Okay, yes. All right, so zoom it. For you to see the list of key combinations that you can use, I'm going to show you the web page here. So it is, you can always look it up on Bing or Google, right? So Google zoom it, and if you scroll way down, so you see list of key combinations that you can use. If you want to set timer on the screen, you want to change colors, just like I've mentioned, so you can always leverage on all of this. Another one that I have is the together mode, right? So together mode gives you that experience of togetherness, especially, you're trying to teach a small class, not a very large class, but a very sizable class. So you can create that aura of togetherness instead of having people just show up within their small webcam, their small webcam window, right? So together mode comes in handy for doing that. So in order for you to use the together mode, though, you need to have about 4 people on the Teams call. This is what this one looks like. Let me quickly show it to you. All right, so if I try to join this team call here, all right, so to turn on the together mode, you simply click on the dot, 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 and come to together mode, right? And the cool thing is also the fact that you're able to select the screen that works best, for you. So this is what the together mode looks like here. Let me try to turn on my camera. So you see me show up sitting in here. So I can change if I don't like this particular preview to another screen, maybe a conference one. You get the picture here. So that is another tool that, people can leverage. So you see, it gives you that sense of togetherness instead of people just appearing in their own small little separate box, right? And the last one that I have is also adding polls to your online session. So when we're teaching in a learning environment, polling is something that is really very important. So if you're looking to get feedback from people, just like when we're through with this session, Paul is going to try to get you to make a poll, right, of what the experience is like, right? So we can leverage on poll, as well. So when we're polling, there are different ways of making poll happen. I can do polling in a number of ways. One way to do it will be via my chat here. So I can click on my chat window and click on this ellipsis here to go to forms, right? And if you don't see that, you see messaging extension. So you can click on that as well. So here I'm able to set my questions. Right, and get people to respond, right? So type in your option as appropriate. If you have multiple answers, so you can select multiple answers here, and you can also choose this option that you have here, whether you want to share the poll results with people who voted, that's with everybody, or you also want to record names. So just choose the option that works for you, and you can also preview and send. So when you send, you just need to give it a little time for the poll to show up to all the participants, right? And people can as well do the polling from here too as well. I've sent it. So if I just give it some little time here, you'll find the poll show up, and I'm able to respond as appropriate, right? And just one very quick one before we also wrap up is the fact that you can also use this transcription. I talked about usage of transcription services, right? So you can do that by clicking on these ellipses that you have here. And okay, so it's not showing up right now because I have just me. Let me see this. Okay, perhaps because I don't have enough people, added here, but usually when you click on this dot, you are able to see your transcription service show up somewhere around here. Initially, it used to be that you need to have the E5, I think, license, but I think now it works fine just for E3, where when you speak, then it simply keeps a log of the transcription, and people can always go in to look up what was said, by each participant of that particular meeting. So that is what I have for you today because of time. So I think I'm going to stop this one and then stop sharing and see if there are some questions that I can respond to quickly because of time. So Paul, is over to you now.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Kazim, for that good thing. I mean, I'll put the link in the chat for Zoom It. I saw that tool. I can't remember what it was now. Recently, so someone shared that with me as well, and I think it's such a great tool to use, easy to use. So I'll pop that link in there so people can access that. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. And I can unmute you, or if you want to ask your question in the chat, please do ask in the chat. Okay, just waiting now to see if anyone is asking any questions at all. It looks like no hands raised. Looks like so we have no questions, Kazim. But
Okay.
Really informative session. Some great tips there showed from the work around the education world of using Microsoft Teams. So some good pointers. Tagging is definitely setting up those tags. It can make life so much easier rather than tag it. One my pet hates is when people tag a team or tagging a channel maybe, but tagging a team when you just want to, it's just like you're shouting at everyone like, hey, look at this post, everyone's got to read it. When in reality it's probably only a small group of people in the team that it's really important to. So I think setting up those tags is a great way, to be more productive when using Teams and communicating. But thank you very much, Kazim, for your session. Great session as always. Great insights. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. And apologies for the small network glitch. Yeah.
Don't worry at all. These things happen, so don't worry. It's always the way, isn't it, when you're running these things live, using the technology. I'm sure you're not going to be the first one or the last one, should I say, that has these problems. Brilliant. If you want to leave Kazim some feedback, I've popped the feedback link there in the chat, so please take some time out just to fill that out. Pop your feedback in, let them know how the session went, let us know how things are going here at Teams Nation. And once again, thank you very much, Kazim, for joining us today.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Cheers, thank you.